Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Today is episode number 280 on my journey to 1800 ELO. It's been a long journey. I've been stuck in the 1200s for quite a while now, but I want to show you guys a game today that I played. This is going to be a recap, so it's going to be a little different, but yeah, let's get right into it. So here we are. I played with the black pieces, and my opponent played with the white pieces, and let's get to the big screen here. Also, we can do a little bit of tunage just to make the video a little funner. So, played a really good game. Played with 90.5% accuracy. My opponent played with 81.8. And, yeah, we had 0 blunders, 1 miss, 1 mistake. And it was a relatively short game, but I did want to go over this game. I've been on quite the losing streak. Or, well, not really a losing streak, but I got checkmated and won 2 games in a row, which is very embarrassing, and I did not want to post that video, but if you guys haven't seen that and you want to watch me get destroyed in 2 games back to back by checkmate in 1, check out yesterday's video. Yeah, I'll put that probably at the bottom at the end of the video. We'll see, but anyways. So we played a decent game here. This was a good comeback. I actually played 2 games this day, but I lost the first one and played this one and won this one. Yeah, I played them off camera, so I didn't have a recording for these. But I thought this one was pretty instructive because I've been learning new openings, and playing with the black pieces has been fun for me, but it is new because I'm used to playing the Caro Kann, and I've been playing the Dragon Sicilian. Against E4, against E4 play. So let's get right into it. E4, we go for C5. They are playing what is the Alapin, and this is like one of the most annoying things in the world for Sicilian players because they're basically, you know, this pawn is here to take this pawn, but they're now reinforcing it so that when they do play inevitably D4, when we take, they're gonna have a pawn to recapture, and they're gonna have this fat boy center. So it is annoying to play against, but we just played what I consider the best move, is knight to f6, and the whole point of this is it just puts pressure on this pawn. And sure, if you do this, takes, I end up getting this pawn. So I played this move with that in mind. Now he can just push, which is I think what happened in the game. Yeah, he pushes, and from here, so the reason that we play the dragon, right, like usually the second move of this variation is almost always d6, and that actually is here to protect against this move. So I just changed things up a little bit in this and moved the knight, and we're going to play knight to d5, and the computer now goes for the d4 push, right? And so the thought is that if I take, they take back, and they have, you know, relatively strong center, and they're gonna we're gonna have an open C file in the game. So I oblige that. I think the taking needs to happen in this position, and moves like knight c6 are gonna be like right up my alley, things like that. And then I can still fianchetto the bishop, but this is kind of the problem with this sort of play, is it kind of makes it so that I don't really want to do that. However, in this position, I did play d6 to kind of undermine this pawn and just see what we could do about it. Because if I can actually undermine the pawn enough, I'm probably fine just fianchettoing and being, you know, getting into like normal dragon stuff. So we played in the spirit of the dragon and played d6. My opponent played knight f3. Now this is typically like one of the first moves in the game. Like if you go by the main lines, like this is what they should have played probably in the beginning. But my opponent played in a way where, you know, he didn't develop the knight before going for c3, d4. In this case, he just held off and was like, nah, man, I know how to do this. So he did a good job. I think this is fine. I actually developed my knight, and we have hit straight up all book moves up to this point, which is pretty cool. This knight does a good job of protecting this. Well, I say protecting this. Hitting this pawn, also hitting this pawn. Yeah, looking good here. This knight, funnily enough, really can't get kicked out very easily, and we can even like maybe strengthen its resolve with a move like e6 if we wanted to. or develop a piece and protect it if we had to. If the bishop ever really came here, though, which would be the only real way that I see, other than bringing the knight out to attack it, if the bishop came here, I think a move like knight to b6 is also a strong move, because it forces the bishop to, like, make a decision and probably just back up. And that's something we want a lot of the times, because we can maybe go to, like, chase it away off of the diagonal. So this was weird, and I didn't deal with this in the right way. So as you guys see, I played bishop to d7, which is not the move. I missed this. Like, playing the game, I saw this after I made the move bishop to d7, which is kind of like a problem that I have to, like, overcome, because I need to calculate these lines. Like, I knew that bishop pinning the knight was not, like, the best move, and I missed the fact that if I play queen here, he can't actually do this. And if you guys don't see why, if my opponent plays here, I can actually take, and when he takes, then it gets real bad, because I can, one, I could just take the bishop, but two, I can take that pawn, yeah, with check again. And so, like, we can get into it. Like, if he played this in this position, knight takes c3 is the move, and then it's queen takes b. Whoa, hold on. Yeah, it says actually queen takes the bishop is the best move, but you can actually play bishop takes, or, well, no, you don't want to do this. There must be something in the position that I'm not seeing. I guess it's this, because it defends the rook, and then you just don't get the piece. So yeah, that makes more sense. But yeah, you just get the bishop in this line. So overall, I missed that, and that's a problem, because he saw it and took. And that was my mistake in the game. I didn't have really another one. Taking with the bishop is the best. So here we decided to go and try and fianchetto our bishop, but actually in positions like this, where he's got this, it's not ideal to do that, right? Like, we actually want to, like, concretely get this knight in here, maybe take here, or maybe just move the knight and solidify here. There's a lot of options in a position like this. So I was pretty comfortable fianchettoing, because I thought that I would be able to, like, somehow take over that center, but that's not necessarily the case. So this is the best move, only because we've already committed to g6. You might as well just play bishop g7 and castle. That is just kind of what needs to happen after you commit that hard. So here, I figured he was just going to take my knight. I recapture with the bishop. He brings a bishop here to defend the pawn. I just castled and did not care what the heck he wanted to do at all. I was not bothered. Brought my rook over to the open file. He pushes b3. Now, I decided to take here, which is not the best move. The best move is to actually kind of reroute the queen up here, maybe, like, see what the bishop's going to do. You know, I can actually get the queen kind of up in here. Let's see what the computer actually, yeah. So actually, yeah, it's more of a slow push with this h6 kind of stuff. I like that. So I didn't, that's a big long line. That would have been things that I would have had to calculate during the game. But we took, and he recaptures with the pawn. So I thought that, I mean, he had a few different options, but I think taking with the pawn is the best move. It just, I don't know. When you're playing against people, sometimes, you know, that feels like an awkward move. But it's not. So it's actually a pretty strong pawn. It's defended 2 times, and my bishop still sucks, right? So we played e6. The opponent brought his knight in, and I brought my queen over to kind of, like, substantiate the fact that my rooks are now connected, and that I have not moved my queen the whole game, and she needs to get into the game. So I wanted to maybe do something like this, was my first thought, but after a move like rook to c1, I can't take the pawn, right? So I would just have to move again. So I chose this move. He brings the queen down. This is a loose kind of piece. I mean, it is defended right now, but he really can't move the queen but too far from the knight at the moment. So I like his move. It's the best move by the computer. His rooks are connected, and I kind of had an idea to like build a battery here, right? Like that was kind of one of my main ideas, but this pesky knight is just holding down that square. So really my idea was like this nagging little thing in my head, and I knew it wasn't working. Um, let's get back to full screen. Sorry about that. I keep forgetting to switch back to the scene, but the other way is fine. You can see the whole board. I brought the rook over to d8, which is still not the best move. It actually really likes this kind of h6, and I think the goal is to, like, I don't know, maybe actually play g5 after that. I'm not really sure, because the reason I wouldn't do this is because takes... I guess this is actually kind of tactical, because if he takes... Typically, we would, like, I wouldn't want to do this because I just lose a pawn, right? Like, he can just take this now. He's got a battery. But in this position, it's kind of funny because if he takes, I wouldn't just sit here and just, you know, like I normally would. Like, normally in this position, I'm expecting him to eventually do a move like this. And that's kind of what I was expecting with this move. But I kind of had a little tactic in mind that if he does this, I was actually going to take. And then if he takes, he loses this knight, right? So that was my tactic. I don't see really why h6 and letting him get a pawn for it is better, but maybe it is. Yeah, that is a tactic. So I was seeing that in the game. It didn't end up happening, right? So here I missed an opportunity. This was my miss. I needed to take the rook. And if he recaptured, let's show the lines. Recaptures, I actually drop the bishop, and we can take the pawn. Yeah, it gets really wild here. I would not have been able to play this. I'm not so savvy to find all those lines, but the computer saw a nice trick for black there, is what that means. He takes, he didn't like the tension, and then he moves the rook over. And this is kind of funny because I was like, oh, I can just take that, right? And he's gonna, like, I was like, he messed up big time because he's got to take with the queen here, and then he loses the knight. And he thinks that he has a back rank mate, but actually I have bishop to f5, or f8. So he missed this. And I actually have this, and he's got issues right here. He's got this hanging. You know, he can't take a pawn. He can't really do anything, actually, in this position. So, yeah, and we won a piece. So, this was a good game by me. I played, like I said, with like 90-something%. Look at it. 90.5% accuracy. He played with 81.8, and he played a really good game, too. It says I played like an 1850, and my opponent played like a 1550. Yeah, it's a decent game. That was all I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's been rough. I've been trying to get over that 1300 mark, but it's been evading me. Chess is hard, so I've been trying my best. I don't have like the best study habits. I'm not like a full-time, you know, chess streamer, right? Like I have a full-time job and priorities and stuff, so I can't actually spend but so much time studying chess. I do have a chess coach. We are learning new openings and stuff. That's not all we're learning. I do just keep bringing that up, but that's because to me that's like the most interesting. I don't know, it's all interesting, but I'm like, oh god, I felt very much like I was very one-dimensional, and like I had to play the London, had to play the Caro, and I felt like systematically I was good in those openings. So learning new openings really scared me because it made me feel like I was gonna like just come out of positions worse because I don't know how to play them. Whereas I've been doing all right with the black pieces. Not gonna lie, the white pieces, I feel way less comfortable with the Queen's Gambit than I do the London, but it kind of is what it is. It's a good way for me to learn, and I don't know, maybe eventually I can come up with like a different way to play that I actually enjoy with playing like a Queen's Gambit style position. Anyways, that's my little spiel. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far in the video, you're a hero. And yeah, I will catch you guys tomorrow. See you then.